What's up, guys? Welcome to Kids Are Talking. I'm sitting here with my co-host for the day, Ryan. You ready for the show, Ryan?
I'm excited. I can't wait.
This is going to be a great show. Listen, you told me that you wanted to co-host because you said you could do a better job than me as a producer. So I'm gonna put a challenge for you, okay? Because your sister was on a show before, right? We had your sister on the ADHD show, and we got 1,100 views on YouTube. So if you can blow out YouTube and beat her record, I'll buy you a new PlayStation game.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see.
So that's the challenge. That's the challenge at hand. Anything to say? What are we talking about today? Movies and film?
We're talking about I think more like the TV industry as a whole, but yeah, mostly about movies and actors and film. Yeah, all that stuff.
I know you've got a strong opinion about that. So
we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so we're gonna roll the disclaimer. And we're getting started. This is the co-host, co-producer, ready to play with Dr. Don and the rest of the panel. So we'll see you we'll see you soon.
I think that we should probably start listening to each other.
I really just want to hear everyone's different perspectives and let everyone know that they're not alone, because we're all going through the same thing. And, if I can inspire hope in any of the listeners, that'd be amazing.
Not only to get what you want in life, but to do things that you want to do to influence the world in the way you want.
It's also very important that you go out of your way to educate yourself. And by watching the show and watching other things and reading things like the show, you are doing your job for that.
Love over hate. There's more love that needs to be out there. First, being empathetic, compassionate, and have a thorough discussion. People listening with compassion and openness is going to go a long way.
Everybody's always going to be struggling with mental health, yet nobody will know about it. A lot of students, a lot of children aren't really given the resources they need. Things are just getting worse, so I think it's really important to try and spread the message. Just get that, extra 5% of feeling secure in their person.
Dr. Don? Can y'all hear me?
I love that.
Here we go. Film and movie review.
I love that. Am I on mic? I guess I am on, right?
Yeah. Everybody, you can hear Dr. Don up there?
I love when Whitley does that thing at the end. Whitley, we can all hear you. Tonight we're going to hear all you guys. Ryan, welcome. Great to have you.
Thank you.
We have your 8 friends on tonight, right?
Yeah, my friend group, all of them are going to be here talking about.
I think what's really cool is that you have such a group of friends that are so close. You're all seniors in Weston, right?
Yeah, we're all seniors.
I think it's just really special that you have such a bond and have 8 friends like this, and that you can have an experience that I'm looking forward to it. And actually, I think maybe we start with you and then let you introduce your friends. But I'd like to just introduce you as my co-host tonight. And I heard the father-son dynamic. Your father's put a little pressure on you to pull it off tonight. But I don't think I'm going to put any pressure because I know you're just going to do great. And your sister did great. Now you're here, and you said something about the movie industry and TV industry. You have a lot to say about that tonight. Was this show really seemed to be something you wanted to do, right? What is it about?
Well,
what is it about the TV and movie industry?
We were talking about topics, and we were thinking about something that we can all talk about, like that's like more lighthearted than in previous episodes. And I think that movies is so broad, and there's so much to talk about that we can discuss about it and have some opinions going in the hour period.
And I happen to know for sure that you were ready to have a lighter show, these heavy shows like the last one we did on guns and violence. You wanted to come in here and do something and give us a holiday spirit of something that was just this time of year. It's the holidays. Everyone loves the movies. There's always new movies that come out this time of year. So we made this a special edition for a Friday night show for Kids Are Talking. For all of you who realized we were not on last night, because we decided to do a Friday night special edition. Because first of all, a lot of us go to the movies on Friday night. We don't go Thursday nights. And so what would be a better thing to have a special edition on than Ryan and his 8 buddies, right?
And for everybody that was watching the chat on the Guns and Violence show, half the kids that were commenting are on the show today. So we get to actually see them on camera. So,
and I called all your bluffs because I know that show is heavy for a lot of you. And thought maybe it was a little not your thing. So we're going to let people hear you do your way you would like to do Kids Are Talking. So Ryan, why don't you introduce the Crazy Eights?
I can just go down the list. All right. We can start with the Matuesz, I guess. Why not? What else?
Hello, my name is Matuesz. I'm a senior at Weston High School, and I can't wait to talk about Saw 3. I've never seen the movie, but it's my favorite one.
Which one is that, Matuesz?
Saw 3.
Oh, Saw 3. Okay. No. All right.
So they're only on 3. I thought they were already on 5.
Yeah, but Saw 3.
I don't know, but 3 is just my favorite.
Oh, 3 is your favorite. Okay, yeah. Okay. Saw 3 was a good one.
Well, I'll learn a lot tonight because I have no idea what movie that is. We'll give you a chance, Matuesz.
Matuesz will explain the plot. Yeah,
right,
I think
Matuesz.
it's a good one.
All right. Go ahead, Ryan. We'll just keep
Who else is here?
Oh, yeah. Let's go down the line. All right. Bring out Blake.
Bring out Blake. Okay, Blake.
Bring out Blake.
Here's Blake.
What up, Blake?
Hi. I'm Blake. Let's see. I run cross country and indoor track, and I want to talk about movies because I love pirating movies.
A movie pirate.
A movie.
Yeah.
What is a movie pirate, by the way?
Just watching stuff, getting around certain laws, and watching stuff. Maybe not in the most legal way. There's a certain thrill to it.
Are we able to ask you about that tonight? All right.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke. I don't.
Oh, but you just like movies. It's Edit Blake. You just like movies.
I love movies. I usually sit around with my family right over there. Love watching movies Friday, Saturday night.
All right, that's cool. Well, tonight we get to do this on a Friday night.
All right. Next up, we can bring on Nick. He did the promo with me, so I'm sure he's excited.
Yo, I'm the promo guy. What's up?
All right, the promo guy.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little about promo guy. Tell us a little bit about like what you're doing here and what.
Well,
what
Nick was adamant that it was going to get heated tonight. So, Nick,
tell us.
I want to know what are we throwing down about? I mean,
I'm ready to start a fight.
Oh my god.
No. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, I will do that. I changed my mind. No, but I don't know. I'm just here to support the show. I'm not really a big movie guy, but it is what it is. I'll talk about what I can. All right.
I appreciate you coming on and being a supporter of Kids Are Talking. Thank you for being here.
Yep.
All right. Next up, the other promo guy, Ciaran. Bring him out.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ciaran. I'm also a senior at Weston, and I love movies because I love seeing all the cinematography and the videography that goes into it to help frame a shot and convey all the emotion that the director wants in them.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
You're special. Right. Are you a CGI fan as well, or just the natural cinematography?
Just the natural cinematography, really.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Next, we can bring out Victor.
Victor, let's see. Oh, here's Victor. Okay. Let's go. He's cold.
Hello, everybody. Cold. I am a little cold tonight.
You look like you look a little cold.
Yeah. I really love movies. My name is Victor, by the way.
Victor. Hello, Victor.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I like movies.
All right, that's it. We can get into it. We'll just move on to Sean.
Yeah, movies are cool, right? Well, you're here to talk to us about movies, right? Victor?
Yeah. Really.
We want your insights, Victor.
All right.
All right.
I'm excited.
What up, Sean?
Hi, Ryan, bud. So, I was in 11th grade film club. I was also in film studies, and now I'm in advanced videography, so I know everything about movies.
Oh my God!
Oh, you have an expert.
We've got an expert on the field tonight.
John, you're no longer the expert.
I'm humbled by that introduction for sure, and I'm actually relieved to hear that we have somebody that's an expert.
You
will. All right. Second to last, we can bring out Gabe.
Hello.
Front and center.
Gabriel Padilla. Love watching movies. I'm a big fan of dialogue movies, how scenes are shot, and just the overall way landed.
Thanks for being here, man. I love meeting all of you for the first time. And Ryan, all of Ryan's friends, they're all good buddies. It's special, really special.
We got one more person in the waiting room.
I hope he's here, but Steven.
Is he here?
I'm here. Can you hear
My
me?
God, Ryan, you got all your friends to show up. That's really quite a statement.
It's honestly surprising, but
Can you hear me?
Ryan's surprise party tonight. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Steven, and I like movies, and I'm one of the creators of some Best Picture winners, Normal Activity, The Heist, and A Chance, as well as the Advanced Videography opening montage.
A great film.
So I pretty much know what I'm talking about.
Another expert.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know. Did you follow all that? Help us understand that, Ryan. What is this guy talking about? Huh?
So Normal Activity, it's an award-winning film we produced in one of our classes. You should check it out one time. It's a horror movie.
Okay.
Starring the people here.
You guys like horror movies?
I think
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like horror movies, you have to watch Normal Activity. It was probably one of the scariest productions I've ever watched.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Really true.
And what's so scary?
It was shocking.
It was shockingly bad.
So what would it do to Dr. Don if you were to watch Normal Activity?
Terrify you.
I think you ever watch another movie.
Would I be more terrified than what I've lived through the last 2 years with COVID? Would it have that same kind of effect on me?
It would be worse.
Yeah.
Worse?
Yeah, it would be worse.
My God.
I feel like a scared straight experience.
Especially the ending.
Wow. Are we allowed to know the ending?
No.
No.
We're not allowed?
I think we should also bring in the chat. So we're gonna have the chat streaming live with us today.
Yeah, I think we might get some people to chat in with you. Hey, Ryan, you know what I was thinking, bud? You're my co-host. So why don't you take the lead now?
Okay.
How do you want to start this off tonight?
We can start with we were talking about. We can start with class.
Oh, that's a great question. Right.
What's the question? Wait, what's the question?
Norm's Whale wants to know: is there a reason there's no females on the panel?
Oh, that's. You guys want to answer Norm's Whale about that?
I can answer it. Ryan is he's really a lot of females don't really like him. That's why.
A lot of females what? What was that? A lot of females what?
Do not like Ryan. Yeah.
Ryan, is that really true, Ryan?
I'll translate for him. Steven's basically saying that I'm just such a ladies' man that we're not having any females on the podcast or panel today. So,
that's not what I meant.
Notorious. He's infamous.
What are you gonna do? It is
too many side chicks.
Could it also be? Let me be a little bit of the straight man here. Could it also be that the 8 of you are very close and you just all want to be on together without any other people?
Yeah, that's probably the truth.
I agree.
I mean, so Norm, we love women. These guys, I'm sure you all love women, right? We don't have anything against women.
Love women.
You're just a tight group of guys that want to have your moment together, which I think is really very nice, beautiful thing. So
we go way back.
Yeah, so Ryan, let's go forward now.
All right. So we can start with we were talking about upcoming next week. Actually, the Spider-Man movies coming out. So we can talk about. We were ranking them last time we were talking, so we can go through that. Start with that.
Okay,
in order.
What do we think of the Spider-Man
franchise?
The Spider-Man story?
Andrew Garfield is the worst Spider-Man.
What do you think?
I'm gonna disagree with you, Sean. I think that he's the best Spider-Man by being Spider-Man. Like his Spider-Man on film is the most comic accurate. He acts like a spider. There's nothing better than him. Toby has the best. Toby has the best character. Tom is the best Peter Parker, but Andrew Garfield is
Those
the
are
best
the same
Spider-Man.
thing. What are you talking about?
So you think Spider-Man really? You think that Garfield really lives the Spider-Man character?
Yeah, his Spider-Man is the best.
Yeah, but doesn't Toby get credit for being the first motion picture Spider-Man?
He's the first and the best.
Just like Michael Keaton gets credit for being the first Batman.
So I'll tell you what it makes me.
Not exactly.
But you know what it makes me think of? I'll tell you what it makes me think of, like a Joaquin Phoenix, or a Heath Ledger, or who's the other one? White's.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack. The people that really play the part. They really, really play the part. But if you look at a Heath Ledger or a Joaquin Phoenix, if you play the Joker, like method acting, like you become the part. Can that be dangerous when someone plays the part so well that they become identified with the part?
They get typecast, right?
not only typecast, it does do something to them even emotionally.
I think,
like, was it Heath Ledger who killed himself? I think.
Yeah, he overdosed on. Did
he play the Joker?
Yeah, he was Joker in Dark Knight.
Didn't they say that when he played in Dark Knight, he became so identified with the character that it kind of made him crazy?
Yeah.
I think he had prior problems. I don't think a man really plays the Joker and then like overdoses on drugs.
Is he okay?
It's risky.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
So, what are some of your favorite? What are some of your favorite movies?
I quite like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That's 3 movies.
He said movies plural. Oh,
you all agree with that about Lord of the Rings, the trilogy of Lord of the Rings?
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I agree.
So what is it? What is it? Because my grandsons like it. I mean, what is it about Lord of the Rings? It captivated my generation as well. By the way.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Steve.
I think so. If you don't know, the Lord of the Rings, the way they filmed it, they filmed it all 3 movies at once and then released it like in separate years. I think that, which is something people don't, I mean, producers don't really do, or companies don't really do because it's a big risk. But Peter Jackson, the director, he filmed all this in New Zealand at the same time.
Wow.
Pretty much in order, I believe. And I think that means like the characters are kind of, I mean, the actors who are playing the characters kind of live through it. They don't get like the, year-long break and then they greenlight the next movie. They just kind of go through the motions. They get to really experience what the characters are going through. And I think that's why, at least one of the reasons why it's one of the best.
It was tough in the theater though, because it was like, wasn't it like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
At least when you watch it on Netflix or whatever, you can at least pause it and take a coffee break.
What made them take the risk of doing the 3 movies at the same time?
I'm not sure, but I think Peter Jackson, obviously, Lord of the Rings is a book series, very popular book series written by Tolkien,
right?
And it just hadn't been adapted in the right way yet. But I think it was a kind of a moneymaker waiting to happen, and I think it was almost like a guarantee. I mean, nothing's a guarantee, but it just had such a large fan base that it pretty easily could have translated to movies.
Steven, I think that part of the reason it took so long to be released is because they didn't have the special effects and the CGI capabilities to do it effectively up until the point that they released it.
Right, yeah. Speaking of CGI too, I mean, a lot of the stuff that is in those movies still holds up today. I mean, you look at some of the, like, I hate to bring up Spider-Man, but like some of the Spider-Man, how do I say this? At least in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, some of the CGI in those is not the best. But
the Black Panther tunnel fight. You remember that when they're like fighting in the cave?
I thought that was cool.
That was not cool. The CGI was like so bad in that.
CGI was bad. It didn't make any sense.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like CGI, I think it's a tool that should be used sparingly. I think practical effects are much better.
How come?
I agree.
How come the practical effects are much better?
Well, I think the practical effects are just, they seem more real. Like it's very, I know it's getting harder now, but it's very easy to distinguish between like CGI and what's real. And I feel like sometimes CGI kind of makes it a bit cheesy. Like going from Lord of the Rings, which is like, to me, one of the best trilogies, to the Hobbit movies was like one of the greatest downfalls of a franchise, because the Hobbit, like they used CGI for the orcs and everything. And it just looked bad. Like it was rushed.
What is it about the story of Lord of the Rings that gets you guys turned on in terms of what Peter Jackson was trying to get across for people to enjoy and embrace? What were some of the aspects of it in terms of the storyline and the directing and just the whole message of Lord of the Rings? Because it goes back so far to even the 60s in terms of the books. You obviously all feel that he pulled it off, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. I think Tolkien is just a great author. He made some of the best works ever.
Go ahead.
I think it's a story like kind of about, like obviously the hobbits are kind of small, insignificant creatures, and they're going against like the greatest kind of obstacles, like orcs, dragons, elves, etc. I think it's like the story that kind of the underdog, them going on this adventure, achieving the goals. I think that's an appealing aspect of the story, and I don't know. I think people are drawn to stories like that.
Yeah, I like
Well,
that. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
like what Norm Zoyle said in chat. That is great escapism. Like it's just like easy watching because you can just sit there and turn your brain off and take in what's going on in the movie as opposed to what's going on around you.
But the other thing is whether it's Spider-Man, whether it's Lord of the Rings, there's always that archetypal good against evil, right? And like you say, the underdog. And so, you think we all, including you all, enjoy seeing that battle? I mean, we live it every day in terms of good against evil. Do you think that we get vicariously identified with, like in Spider-Man, for instance? I get really excited about the character of Spider-Man because he's so heroic and he can do all these magical things, and you kind of root for him to sort of defend and take care of everybody. We always have that fantasy, right? That we want the hero's journey, right? You think it seems to be in all the movies? How come we put those in all those movies? They're all over it, right? That theme of good versus evil.
Yeah, I think we were talking about Spider-Man 3, where they kind of reversed Tobey Maguire's role, where he was like evil Spider-Man, and everybody kind of hated that. They kind of want Spider-Man to be good, and
that's
like once he turns that
I didn't
way,
realize. You mean Spider-Man becomes evil in Spider-Man 3?
yeah, he does. He gets like the Venom suit, and he's like all
Yeah.
evil and stuff.
To kind of add on to what Sean's saying, people didn't like that. I didn't like it, but I kind of understood what the director was going for. Because like I don't think everything is so cut and dry. Everything's not good versus evil. Obviously people have certain aspects about themselves that are good and bad. And I think a lot of people are drawn to characters like Spider-Man, characters like Spider-Man because they are heroes. They're good. Like people kind of want to be like that. They want to aspire to be good. But I think the reason people regard Lord of the Rings as one of the best trilogies, if not the best trilogy, and not always Spider-Man, is because, Frodo, he goes through this hero's journey and he experiences a lot of bad because of the ring mostly. But still, he's not like a 100% good character the entire time. And I think that's what makes it really good.
I like that. I think that's so true to all of us, right? I mean, yeah, it's like the dark side. Everybody has the shadow side. Is the dark side, and sort of it kind of humanizes to not idealize it, right, and make it so perfect. So, do you think that is kind of a nice aspect of that character, right? And I think you see that a lot in film, right? What we're talking about. Do you agree with that? That we see it's not so black and white, right? We all have don't we all have our dark sides, guys?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
We all have. Dr. Don has his dark sides too, right? So
I'm sure.
Dark side.
What's that?
I'm terrified what that dark side might be.
What was that? I didn't get that. What was that?
He said he was terrified of your dark side.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Dr. Don's dark side.
Oh, Dr. Don's dark side. I don't know. We'll see if it comes out tonight. I'll see if I can terrify you guys. Right now, I'm not feeling that terrifying. So how's it feel to be here talking about this?
Amazing. I'm enjoying talking about movies. Movies are great.
Movies are awesome.
Yeah. So what are the movies you are looking forward to for the new year coming up?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's the number one. And what is it? Why are we so excited about Spider-Man?
Is that
consumerism?
No.
I think one reason it's pretty good is because it's gonna have like all the old guys like Dr. Ock and like Green Goblin and all the old villains are gonna be in it, as well as the 3 Spider-Man, probably, most likely. So
there's gonna be too much fan service in it, bro. They're gonna bring all these characters back and they're not gonna fit together. Everything's just gonna be like bad in the movie because they're trying to fit too many things into the movie.
So you're not looking.
I think it's pretty good, but
I think the Spider-Man 3, one of the bigger problems there was that they tried to fit too much in. Like they had Sandman, they had Venom, and they had James Franco's character, the
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin 2 or whatever.
Hobgoblin.
Yeah, Hobgoblin. And there's just too many villains at once, but I don't know. I mean, if you have, I don't know. It's an interesting concept, but I think it could work. I think it could work.
I think Spider-Man 3 was good, but that's just
The bot made it back.
Apparently, no one else knows.
I didn't hear it. What was that? What was that last comment? What was that? Did you hear
Ryan, what was that?
What?
I didn't hear that last Spider-Man comment. What was that last one?
Oh, I thought the third Spider-Man 3 was a good movie, but no one else does. Apparently, it's like a hot take. But I like the fight between like the last scene,
I like it. I
thought it was so bad it was good. Like, it was funny to watch.
What other movies? What other movies are you all looking forward to?
The Batman.
Squid Game.
Yep.
The new Batman, I think, will be interesting because it's. I feel like it can only get better after what we've recently had from DC.
Also, Robert Pattinson he's not the vampire from Twilight anymore. He's actually a really good actor. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And they're making it rated R, which is awesome.
Yeah, Pattinson was pretty good in Tenet. I remember when we went.
You're even old enough to watch rated R, guy. You can't even watch it.
Come on, Steven. Are we breaking rules?
This is the kids are talking here.
I want you guys break the rules. It's all right with me. You know, it's all right. Go do whatever you want, man. You want to be rated R?
Never watched an R-rated movie in my life.
Oh God forbid, right? So do we like R-rated movies?
Yeah,
of course.
I do.
You guys like sex? You like sexy movies?
No way. No.
You don't like sexy? You don't like sexy movies?
You guys don't watch romance or what?
You don't like romance? You don't
I hate romance movies.
You can't stand rom-coms, romance. How come you guys don't like romance and sexy movies?
They're cheesy.
They're cheesy. What makes them cheesy?
Matthew McConaughey.
What's wrong with? He had a bestseller book for about 65 weeks. By the way.
I think it can be summed up in one quote: "I get older, they stay the same age."
I get older and they stand. And what does that quote mean for you?
It means that he's getting too old and it's kind of like.
You think he lost his young? You think he lost his young spirit?
Yeah, he lost it a while ago.
Oh, so there are any actors? Let me ask you something. Now that I'm the older Dr. Don in this crowd, are there any actors that age well and you think stay cool and don't have the Matthew McConaughey effect?
Hugh Jackman.
Really?
No, he's old.
I agree.
But you think he stays cool?
Yeah, because he's able to like adapt to different roles. Like I liked how his roles really changed over the years from the first X-Men movie all the way to Logan. He was able to play the same character but at the same time evolve too.
So you feel
Morgan Freeman as well.
What's that?
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman for the same reason. Why?
He is not young. Oh my.
Why? I want to know. Wait, I want to know why Morgan Freeman.
Well, because he the first movie that I can think of that I saw that's the oldest movie that he was in that I can think of is Shawshank Redemption, and then there was Seven, and then I'm trying to think. In the last few 5 or 6 years, he hasn't been anything. He was in the Lego movie.
Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty, yeah,
Bruce Almighty was pretty good, yeah. So you
he was also in the Lego movie, which was cool.
So you like the fact you also like that he can adapt and play many different parts, and that's why.
Right, and he's got an awesome voice.
Yeah, he does have a really great voice. I love Shawshank
Yeah,
Redemption. You guys like Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman was on the Electric Company back in the olden days on PBS, Don. These kids don't even remember that.
He has such a great voice.
No, I don't.
He's an electrician.
No, it was like a kid show on Channel 13 back in
He really does.
back in the 70s.
So how about Daniel Day-Lewis? You guys like Daniel Day-Lewis?
Oh,
Love Daniel
yes.
Day-Lewis.
Yes.
Let's celebrate. He's a method actor. Am I right? You know what a method actor is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell the audience what a method actor is, because he is one, right?
Yeah, they take on their role in their movies in like their real lives, and they inhabit the character.
Right. They basically just become the character.
So tell
They
me
don't
what it
break
is
it.
about. Tell me what it is about Daniel Day-Lewis that you guys all like so much.
He's such a real actor. Like in There Will Be Blood, when he's like the opening scene, and he like crawls all the way home. He's in the mine. He feels like a real person. Doesn't feel like some random figment of a character.
I think There Will Be Blood. His performance in that might be the greatest performance ever.
Yeah, I like it.
Because it's, again, like Sean said, it's so real. It's not even like you're watching a movie. It's like you're watching like the character. And part of that is because he gets so invested into the rules. Gangs of New York is another example. He was awesome in that. Lincoln is another great one.
Oh yeah, that was good.
And I believe for his most recent movie, which was Phantom Thread, he trained as a tailor or something for like 3 years. And I don't know, he's a really like he's not in many movies because he picks his roles very specifically.
Exactly.
But I think that's another reason why he's so great, because you have a lot of actors who are just doing movies back to back to back to back to back just to kind of, get either money or just, whatever it is. But guys like Daniel Day-Lewis who really commit to one role every few years, every 5 years, sometimes every 10 years, I think that's probably the best way to do it. But it might not be the best thing for the actor, but it's definitely the best thing for the movie and the character.
Anybody else want to jump in on that?
Yeah, I think the best role ever played was Ryan Budd as Thad in Normal Activity.
I agree.
Where do we all get to see Normal Activity?
It's on YouTube. Yeah.
Where do we get to see it?
YouTube.
On YouTube. Someone paste the link in. Put the link in. We'll put it up.
Yeah. Normal Activity is getting a lot of press tonight, but you're being so cool. You won't tell us what it's about, right?
Come on, Steven.
It's about a fraternity and
Well,
ghosts.
it's basically about two frat guys, and they're bringing in new members, and one of the pledges unfortunately passes away during the hazing rituals, and
Giving away too much.
They get nervous and they act rashly, and then bad things follow.
Well, I know the kids are talking. This is a typical Dr. Don question about hazing. So it's about hazing and the destruction of hazing, right?
A little bit, yeah.
What do you guys think? You guys are going to be going to college. What do you think about hazing in fraternities? If that's what this movie's about, I mean, what do you think? Do you think we should stop hazing in fraternities, or do you think it's dangerous or not?
I think it can be done right, but then it often gets out of hand.
How come it gets so out of hand?
It gets out of hand because you keep trying to up the ante, and you want to really. I think a lot of it's like you want to really get people invested in your fraternity. So you're kind of having to do all these over the top things. Like,
so what?
Yeah. Do a crawl space in the middle of the night, or I don't know, butt chugging, stuff like that. It's like all this crazy stuff to kind of not only make you feel alive, but also feel like you're, I guess, part of something.
So what's the message of this movie that we're talking about tonight that you guys made? Is this Ryan's movie, by the way?
No, it's all of our movies.
All of you.
Okay, don't group us.
Not all of us.
No. We're not part of that. We're not part of that.
Almost everyone.
So what do you want us? What do you want us all to get out of this movie?
I want you to have a good time.
You just want us to have a good time. So is it a fun movie? Will we have a good time watching this movie?
I think so. It's like a satirical. It's like a satirical horror film. It's not really scary, but it's
terrifying.
It's just like Tenet in that it makes no sense.
Yeah,
and that's the only thing related to Tenet.
He's just jealous that he couldn't make a film as good as ours.
The Bell Ringer was far superior, as agreed by Mr. Brencher.
Yeah, shockingly terrible. That's what Mr. Venture said.
Who were some of your favorite female actresses? Do you have any?
I like.
I think Steven has one.
Yeah, Steven has one. Steven definitely has one.
Oh, I like so Amelia Clark from Game of Thrones. She's pretty cool. I like that show. I mean, it's not the most appropriate for people under the age of 18, but I think it's a really I think she does a great job in that. Unfortunately,
so good in Last
not much
Christmas.
many other things, but yeah.
How about a Meryl Streep?
I like Meryl Streep.
I like Meryl
A lot of
Streep.
her movies are a little older though, so I haven't seen many of them.
How are some of the young actresses for you? Who do you like as the young actresses?
Oh, Florence Pugh. She's good. She was in
Florence Pugh, yeah.
Midsummer and the new Black Widow movie.
Oh, yeah, who's the one playing in Black Widow?
Scarlett Johansson. I like Scarlett Johansson too.
You like Scarlett Johansson? What do we like about her? She's certainly an edgy character, isn't she? What do we like about her?
I think she brings a lot of I don't know, a tough side to her roles that might not always be seen in a female actress.
So we like seeing the tough side of her. Hey Ryan, as my co-host, you want to ask these guys anything? How they doing?
Yeah, I have some questions.
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
I think you can pin them. I don't know. I can't. But there's some questions like what movie or film is like the most inspiring? Like, what do you get out of it? So we can start with there. I want to
hear from somebody who hasn't spoken.
Yeah, how about Nick?
Normal Activity.
No, a real movie.
No, real movie.
All right. Shit. All right. Well, I'm not really. I'm not really a movie guy, but honestly, like one of my favorites that I have seen was has to be Django. Like I think Samuel Jackson's work in that movie is. Yeah, I think his acting was phenomenal in that movie, and honestly, it was very entertaining, which I do not say a lot about movies. So
Samuel Jackson's another actor who I think has gotten better as he's grown.
Yeah, I think so.
He's
what made him better. What made him get better in your eyes?
I think he just has like such a great personality.
Yeah, but doesn't he usually just play himself? Like he plays himself most of the time. He doesn't really have a lot of character diversity.
Something that's really interesting about him is also the fact that like when he acts, he typically sticks to a director. Not often do you see Samuel L. Jackson playing a character with an actor or with a director that he doesn't know very well or a producer that's not very well known. He likes to work with people that he has good chemistry with, and I think that goes a long way in his acting. Because a lot of times, like you said, he likes to play characters that he knows or he likes to play himself, but he himself is just so iconic that when you see him, you know that he's going to put out a great performance.
So what does it take for a movie to inspire each one of you? What are the movies that really inspire you? I mean, what does it take for a movie to really inspire you?
Cool.
It has to be good.
I think the cast plays a big role.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to have the right actors to play the right characters, or else it's just going to feel off. You know, like when I think of an inspiring movie, I would think of like Ford v Ferrari, just for how they portrayed Ken Miles, who was like the main character. And, you know, you have all this build up to, you know, he went from nothing to being one of the best racers in the world. And then all of a sudden it was just taken away, you know, from a small accident at the end. I think it's just, it has a lot to do with who they cast and how the director decides to portray their characters.
It is nice to see when they come up from the dark underdog place, right? And they rise to the occasion. Did you guys what's that?
I think it needs to like immerse you, because like some movies I just get so bored of watching. Like Ryan watches One Piece, and I can't watch that. It's really boring.
Probably one of the greatest plot lines.
I couldn't agree more, honestly.
Ryan, what did you say?
Yeah,
7 episodes, and I couldn't even do it.
What do you say, Don?
What I didn't hear what you said.
They'll hate on it. It's called One Piece. It's the best show of all time.
Don't watch it ever.
Yeah, but I've watched it. I tried to watch it, and
the thing is, it's hard to get into because it's a 1,000-episode show.
Yeah, exactly. Why?
That's a lot of episodes.
And it's still not over.
Each episode is only 20 minutes. So.
It's 13 days worth of like footage.
So what do you think, by the way, my generation is becoming really insane about all this. What do you think about all these shows, like 175 episode things? My generation seems to be captivated by all these long things on TV now that are streaming like 170 episodes. What do you think about it? Do you think that's too much?
I despise long shows.
Well, I think that I like it that there's a lot of episodes because if you like the show and like the characters, then it's just more of that like content. So like when people say that they don't like it because there's a lot of episodes, it just doesn't make sense to me.
So is this the new form of soap operas? What soap operas were in the old days?
Well, no, because you can watch like a 12 or 20 episode show, and then okay, it's over, and then you're like, what if you want to see more of it? There's more to happen, more stuff that you can watch. Yeah, it could have ended there, but you could watch more. That's why I think that long running
I feel
shows.
like a major problem with that though is that when shows go on for 170 plus episodes, I feel like you start to lose focus of what really made the show interesting for that first season or first season and a half. I feel like at a certain point, you're either just adding characters, taking away characters, or doing stuff that doesn't actually add to the plot and core message of the show or core theme of the show, and it just at a certain point.
So do you think our generation? Do you think our generation seems to be getting more hooked on these long, episodic streaming shows than your generation?
I don't really think it's a generational factor. I think it's just a matter of how like each of these seasons are structured, because you can have as many episodes as you want, but if it's just going to be like more than 50% filler, then there's really no point to continue watching, because you're just going to be cycling through the same stuff and you're not actually getting to the plot of the story, which is the reason why I don't want to continue watching One Piece, because a lot of it is filler and you're not really getting to the entertaining stuff.
One Piece is only 10% filler, even though it's 100 episodes.
No, One Piece is like a
it
rubber
feels
band.
like
it's only
90% of the episodes are just filler.
The reason One Piece could actually be done in like 200 episodes, but most long-running shows, like not even just One Piece, but a lot of long-running shows are that long because of terrible pacing. Like that's one problem with
like One Piece.
Yeah, like, no, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's the problem.
One Piece needs like so many recaps every. What is it? Like?
And yeah, there's like episodes, like whole episodes for just recap. Like they just spend like 20 minutes.
So it's
pre-film stuff.
It takes good writing, then, doesn't it? You got to be a good writer.
No, the writing is phenomenal. I just think the pacing is terrible.
I think the writing is the most important part.
But the thing is, none of these people here
It's just awful.
They have terrible opinions. It's a hot take.
A show could go as long as the showrunners wanted to, but if only as long as they are willing to, like, make sure the show is still good. Like, I'll bring up Game of Thrones again. It was fantastic for like 6 seasons, and then they rushed the end because the people wanted to go work on Star Wars, and which they never ended up doing because they messed up. Like they created this, and then they rushed the end, and all the fans, and they just kind of they realized like, oh, this is just not the same show that
you hear that a lot
10 years ago.
You hear that a lot. Hey, Mike, that Jack Wilkinson at the bottom is cut off. I've been kind of looking at the chat room. Can I see? Was Jack Wilkinson trying to say something in the chat room?
Who?
He's the one person on the chat room at the bottom.
Yeah, Jack at the bottom.
Jack Wilkinson.
Yeah, I can't see.
Chad said, "Do you think movies represent sororities and fraternities well, or are they glorified for viewers?"
I think they do, especially Normal Activity. It represents it really well. So
to give a real answer, sorry, Steven. To be quite honest, I have no clue because I haven't been experienced. I don't know about you guys, but
none of us are in college, so
yeah,
Right.
we haven't been experienced any of that yet. So I feel like it's
From
probably
what I've
something we'll
heard,
find out.
it's a little exaggerated in movies, but again, I can't speak.
I know some kid just died from being hazed in like a fraternity boxing match or something. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's. What do you think about that, Mike?
I think that's messed up.
Yeah, that's really messed up. Hey, if you could all compare yourself to an actor, which one are you most like?
Steve Buscemi. I look like him. So he's also like crazy and out there. He's always crazy.
How about you, Ryan? What about the rest of you? How would you compare?
I don't know. I have to think about it for a second.
That's a tough question. I mean,
it was in the chat room. That's why I'm trying to look at the chat room questions and throw some of them at you. Getting a lot of activity tonight, guys. A lot of activity.
I don't know about an actor because actors. I don't know the actors personally. I don't know how kind of.
This an actress.
Actress.
No, a lot of times I don't know like how they are as people. But like I can relate to certain characters. I mean,
Which
actors are very they play so many roles that I think you kind of get confused as like who they are. And if they play one specific role, you might associate them with that role, but they might not actually be like that at all. I think that.
Yeah, but you could compare yourself to an actor in a role. Like, you know, different actors play Joker differently. So you could say, oh, I'm the, you know, Jack Nicholson Joker or whatever.
I don't want to be the Joker though, because he's kind of
Ciaran is
Hey, you can also compare yourself to an actress, by the way. You can compare yourself to an actress too. Who knows? Well, not female characters, right? You can compare yourself. I mean, run the gamut there, male or female, that you compare yourself to or identify with, right? I think it transcends gender.
I kind of see how I'm a little bit of like Emilia Clarke's character in Game of Thrones because she's very strong-willed.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That makes sense.
And I'm like,
that makes sense.
I try to be very technical.
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, back to the fraternity thing. Remember the movie Animal House?
Yeah.
What do you think they did with that, and how do you think they did? Norm's Whale mentioned that one. What do you guys think of Animal House and how they portray fraternities in Animal House?
They glorified it because it was like a comedy, so they had to glorify it. Fraternity is probably just like people sitting around doing nothing for like most of the time, and then they only do stuff at parties. So Animal House, something's happening always. You got like, what was his name? Bloosh.
Are you guys looking on the bottom of the screen there when he says Stephen?
I want to say thank you, Norm.
Stephen reminds me of Harvey. Norm's Whale says Stephen. Is it Stefan or Stephen? It says
it's Stephen.
Stephen, right? It reminds me of Harvey Keitel.
I love Harvey Keitel. He's awesome.
There you go.
In Reservoir Dogs, awesome guy.
Yeah. So, Stephen, there you go. And by the way, you have a lot to say tonight, Stephen. I think. What do you think of Reservoir Dogs with Harvey? What do you like about Reservoir Dogs?
My favorite part about that movie is that it's all filmed in pretty much, not all, but pretty much filmed in one room. I think that's the coolest part about it.
What's cool about that?
I just think it's so unique. Like, to be able to craft a story that's still so like engaging, so entertaining in one singular room, I think is brilliant. And I think Quentin Tarantino really, like, it's one of his better. Yeah, I think it's one of his best scripts.
Let's talk about it. Yeah,
they filmed All Is Lost in one single boat with one single guy. So
yeah, let's talk about Quentin Tarantino. I think he's amazing. You all feel the same way about Quentin Tarantino?
I love Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
What is it about Quentin Tarantino that's so amazing?
I think he does just an amazing job. I can't even begin to describe so many like things about him. He has amazing casting. He's an amazing script writer. He chooses his locations very well. Like specifically the script writing, something very interesting is like normally most directors and producers and sometimes actors will help with a script, and if they feel a line doesn't feel natural, they'll not maybe complain, but they'll say something about it. They'll say, hey, maybe we could do the scene this way. But Quentin Tarantino is very specific about what he wants from a film, what he wants from his actors, which I think when you watch all his movies is why when you watch Quentin Tarantino movie, you are really like, all of them kind of have that same magic to them, just because he knows exactly what he wants. They all kind of follow like a similar pattern in terms of how the actors act.
Who else would we add to that list next to Quentin Tarantino?
Christopher Nolan.
I think Christopher Nolan, because I think one of the best parts about Quentin Tarantino is I think what Gabe said, he's one of the best screenwriters. Like, his dialogue is probably the best ever. I mean, in Inglourious Bastards, I think is the best scene ever written, and then another one of the best scenes ever written, the first scene, and then the bar scene in the basement. But Christopher Nolan, because he also, for the most part, writes his movies, sometimes with his brother, and they take very different approaches, because Quentin Tarantino is more like a fun, kind of upbeat action sort of thing. Christopher Nolan's more like a kind of thought-provoking, still action, thriller / I don't know, sometimes drama. It depends on his films, but he has a vision. he goes, and sometimes it's confusing. But I think his commitment to it is the best part. I think they're both their commitments to it.
How about Spielberg?
Spielberg is great.
Steven Spielberg, yeah. Hey, Ryan, do you want to ask something right now? Ryan, do you want to ask any questions right now?
Yeah, I was gonna move forward. Let's go to like, what do you guys think the worst movie in history is? I thought it was
Normal Activity.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
That's insulting.
The Room with Tommy
What do you
Wiseau.
mean?
No,
That movie's terrible.
That movie is a classic.
No, listen. If you've never seen, if any of you ever seen Yesterday, I think that's what it was
Well,
called.
which one?
I saw Yesterday. That was the Beatles movie, right? That was the Beatles movie. Yeah.
Listen,
You didn't like
apologies if you liked it, Dr. Don, but that was probably one of the worst things that my dad has ever dragged me to go watch.
Now tell me why you didn't like Yesterday. You don't like the Beatles, or you just didn't like the movie?
I love the Beatles, right? But that movie dragged on. They did like covers of Beatles songs instead of trying to use like the real deal. It just, I don't know, it didn't work for me.
Did you like Across the Universe?
I've never seen Across the Universe.
That's a Beatles movie too. Ryan, you have anything else you want to ask, buddy?
What's the new Beatles movie? There's a new one coming out by Peter Jackson.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, really good.
Norm's
It's really
Whale was
good.
talking about it.
It's all
It looks
about
crazy.
I recommend that Beatles movie, by the way. It's really good. It's a trilogy. It's good. It's a documentary. But Ryan, what do you want to ask?
What I want to ask, I think we can. I don't know. Maybe we can talk about trilogies again. We were talking about. I know we talked about Lord of the Rings and Spider-Man, but we can talk about other ones like
Star Wars.
The Godfather.
Oh yeah, Star Wars is another one, right?
Prequels versus sequels.
Star Wars had one good trilogy, and the other two are like terrible.
Yeah, but as far as a franchise, I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I think there's too much Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree.
There's
It's
too much Marvel, too much Star Wars.
Yeah, it gets too much.
It's a cash grab, in my opinion.
What was the first movie? What got you all into movies? How did you guys get interested in movies?
Inception, Christopher Nolan.
Inception.
Yeah. For me, it was
Really?
The Dark Knight.
I like the Dark Knight is good.
Wow.
I've always liked
Scooby-Doo.
movies, like Spielberg movies. Like I like Jaws, I like Close Encounters, E.T. But Inception was the one that I was like, wow, this is like the most game-changing movie I've ever seen.
So what was it about Inception that did that? What was it in Inception that was such a turn on?
It was so unique. I mean, I have a poster of it in my room because
What made it unique?
It's a sci-fi movie that is about dreams, and I already am interested in like dreams. I think those are cool, but
Really?
it does it in a very different lens. It's not really like a mystery, like, oh, I'm dreaming, I want to figure this out. It's more like, I don't know. It's another thing that's cool about it is, like, I've seen some theories that like each character represents somebody in the filmmaking progress. Like the main character who Leonardo DiCaprio plays, he's I think
He's another great actor, isn't he?
yeah, he's great. But one of the characters, like the Tom Hardy, his character, he's like an actor because he imitates one of the characters. Cillian Murphy is the audience because he's kind of who they're performing this whole heist on. He's just kind of witnessing the dreams. And Ken Watanabe, he's the producer because he's funding this whole project. He's hired them all. But I just think, I don't know. I think Christopher Nolan, I think it's his best movie. It's just, I don't know. It's just so creative, and it's very thought-provoking. Like the ending's obviously a cliffhanger.
So, Steven, you got me going on something because I'm a dream guy. Dr. Don likes dreams. What's your thing? I'm interested to hear about dreams and what captivates you about dreams, because they're in so many movies, but you seem to have a real attraction to dreams. What is that about?
I mean, in just like a general, I guess, lens, I think it's the mystery of them. I mean, we still really don't understand the I don't know, the full extent to dreams, and like I don't know why one night I dream about something and then the next night something totally different, or the next night nothing at all. Like, I just think it's really unique. And I don't know, it's like when we're sleeping, like they say in Inception, our mind can do almost anything. And I think that concept's really cool.
Yeah.
Like you use only like 10% of your mind when you're awake, and then you can use more when you're asleep. I think that's cool.
What do the rest of you think about dreams and how they integrate into movies? You have other
Overused.
Overused?
There's always like it was all just a dream. And that's like the worst
I don't
ending
like that.
in
Yeah, that's
cinema
totally-
history.
No, but how about what Steven's saying? Do you all take the dream world as a serious thing? You know, I mean, do you think that movies are, you know, do you think that like Inception obviously did that, but there are a lot of movies that have that kind of dream element to them, don't they? I mean, do you see any value in what Steven is saying?
I think an interesting part of movies that deal with dreams is the reflection part of it. A lot of movies will introduce some kind of character realization, like just a sudden scene of some character looking up at the camera or looking just past the camera, and music will play and it's a huge realization. But some movies where they introduce like huge revelations through a dream it's a really interesting concept, because not only can that happen in real life where you go to bed and the next morning you wake up and everything is bright and clear, but in movies it's really interesting getting your point across.
There's kind of a surreal element, right, in dreams.
Yeah.
Right? So I want to ask you something. With what we've been through with COVID, what do you think films are going to do with COVID as we move forward? You know, like the morning show. I don't know. Do any of you watch the morning show? Probably not. But do anybody watch the morning show?
I know of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, so there are going to be a lot of things in the future on COVID and what we've been through with COVID. What do you think? What do you think we'll be able to do with film in terms of this period of history, and where you would see, or do you think we'll do some interesting creative things with it?
Personally,
I think there's gonna be a lot of negative things around COVID, especially with like the Fauci movie came out and everybody hated that. Everybody just kind of wants to forget COVID. They don't really want to hear about it, especially in movies, which is like escapism.
Well, I think there's going to be movies about like historically about COVID, but then there's going to be like spins on it. You know, like what if COVID was really the zombie virus, or whatever people come up with. Like,
yeah, that's what I wanted to know what they thought of. Like, you have guys.
They're going to turn it into a fantasy. You know, like, heighten it.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas or feelings? I don't. We try to keep the word feelings out of the show. How about ideas or visions about where we go with that and where it might be? If you were a director or a writer right now, would you be inspired to write about COVID and come up with ideas for it?
Well, personally, I mean, just to go like the last thing, I think movies in the future, COVID itself, like the virus, I think movies can be made about that because it's such like there's already movies about viruses.
We had the movie before I predicted, almost talked about COVID before it happened, right? What was that movie?
There's another movie, I think it's called like Outbreak.
Right, Outbreak. Yeah, that's right, Steve. Outbreak.
Yeah. But there's so many movies on like viruses or like plagues,
right?
Stuff like that. But I mean, if you think about what everyone was doing in the height of COVID, we're all kind of like sitting in our houses online, and I don't think that's a great movie topic. But I also don't like technology in movies most of the time. I think it's really hard to implement that right now because obviously in the last like 20, 30 years, there's just been like a tech wave. Like,
so you're anti-Matrix?
Well, you have at the
No, I like The Matrix.
Unfriended.
Unfriended is not a good movie.
That's the best movie, Steven. I don't know what you're talking about.
Which movie is that?
The Matrix.
The Matrix. Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think of The Matrix?
Love The Matrix.
I love The Matrix.
The new one's going to be terrible.
Why
you
did
have to see it anyway? You have to see it.
So what was about it, Steven? What was about the first one that you liked?
Well, the first one is sort of, I like the concept of people not understanding their reality, which is kind of like what Inception is, like choosing which reality to live in, or choosing to live in reality or in the dream. And obviously, Neo has that choice. He can, continue to live his life not knowing anything, or he can, know everything, but his life will never be the same. That's a cool concept because I do think people sometimes are so like direct, and they think one way, and they don't listen to anything else. They only think like this, and
Right.
they're like, this has to be the only way to live.
Right.
There's no way that anybody could live any other way.
So it's nice to stretch the imagination, right?
Right.
How about we can't do a show and not mention Pulp Fiction, can we?
Pulp Fiction is great.
Did Pulp Fiction have a big impact on all of you?
Yeah. I think something really interesting about Pulp Fiction that doesn't get talked about a lot, or maybe it does, but it's probably its one-liners. That's something we didn't really get to cover a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, the amount of iconic lines you can quote from that movie is nearly the entire script. There are just so many amazing lines.
Yeah. It was a big movie when it came out for a lot.
It's also like the script writing. It's not in order, like chronological order, which was kind of not a thing back then. I mean, I wasn't alive, but from what I've read, from what I've heard people say, it was very different because it didn't go in chronological order. It just told the story in a different way. And I think that kind of shows Quentin Tarantino's ability. Like he can tell a story in one room. He can tell a story not in chronological order. He can tell a story in a completely in a similar world, but like with different outcomes, like in Inglourious Bastards.
I love
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Or
that was even before Memento came out.
Yeah, I like Inglourious Bastards. I thought Inglourious
Memento, the movie Memento. It was
Memento.
It was basically just in the whole movie was backwards.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I like movies that are backwards. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I watched a video of Christopher Nolan explain it, and he basically drew it out as like it was like a semicircle, and one timeline is moving like this, and when the other one's moving like this, and then they sort of meet up at the end. Like you have the black and white, and then you have the one in color. Which I don't know. That's just another topic.
So,
but
we're running out of time, but I'm really enjoying this. I got to ask a question. This is: you think people are going to go back to the movies? Do you think we're going to miss the movie theaters?
I think people
will
definitely go back. Although
we'll go back.
I feel like some people will be hesitant to go back.
I go back.
I miss going to the movie theater. I'm ready to go back if I'm careful. I mean, do you think that's a big loss? Movie theaters are important. Do you think?
I do. I think it's the best way to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're all closing down.
What do you think is the difference? I know it's terrible. What do you think is different in a movie theater than watching at home?
It's obviously on the big screen.
It's about the experience.
Yeah, it's about the experience.
As much as I hate when people laugh out loud in the movies or talk during movies, I think it's great to get the sense of what other people are feeling and thinking as the movie's going on.
Ryan, what do you think of your friends? Do you have anything else, Ryan, that we want to ask them?
No, I think we summed up a lot of our topics we want to talk about. I think we had some good debates going.
Ryan, I have a question for Ryan.
Sure. Go ahead.
What's your favorite movie, Ryan? As the host, what is your favorite movie?
Oh God. I don't know. I think my favorite movie that I've watched, and going about it like one that I've watched multiple times, like Ciaran said, I got him into movies. I think The Dark Knight was really good. That's the only movie that I've actually seen 3 or 4 times. So I think if I had to choose, I know I haven't watched a lot of older movies, but I think that movie is really good.
Which one, Ryan? I can't hear you. What are you saying, bud? Which one?
Batman, The Dark Knight.
You like The Dark Knight?
Yeah, the Joker. Heath Ledger played it really well. I think it was just watching him play the Joker in general was really great. So that's why I watched it many times.
So Ryan, I want you to help close down the show because I'm having trouble doing that. Is there anything else you want to ask your friends or anything?
Are we gonna give everybody a last word on movies like we normally do?
We'll do that in a second.
Get the last word. We can start with Victor. Why not Victor? Yeah, Victor.
Ah, yes. I do have something actually.
And after this, Ryan, I'm gonna let Ryan close down the show. Go ahead, Victor.
Yeah, of course.
Last word on movies.
Last word on movies, Victor. Go ahead. You get the last word.
Let's go. Like one word or multiple?
No, you can say a couple sentences. Go ahead.
Say whatever you want to say, and then we'll do the typical kids are talking close down.
Yeah. So back to the fraternity, question. I think there are a few movies that that really capture this sort of dangerous environment that we're all sending our kids to. As a college applicant, I've experienced a lot of this myself. And I think a movie that really does this well is Project X, because like they're like they're like buying alcohol under the age, and then like some guy, I forget his name, I don't know, he like burns down the house with a flamethrower, and like this is stuff that actually happens. Garloid, all right. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, he burns down the house with a flamethrower, and like this is stuff we really need to put in our films, and yeah, that's it.
You're saying it's stuff we should put in our films or not?
Yeah, to really like let people know about the dangers, because like a lot of kids
The
go into
original
college
question was,
blind.
do movies glorify?
So put it in. What about movies being glorified?
Blake, last word on movies. Let's go. What do you have to say?
Anything on movies?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
One word, you got it.
I would say best movie of all time, probably the Wiggles movie.
Which one?
The Wiggles movie.
The Wiggles.
The Wiggles.
That's a
What
good
is
one.
that? What is, no, that's the one I don't. What is that?
It's the Wiggles movie. It was like with the original cast. Yeah. It's probably the most impactful movie of my childhood. Yeah.
And what was it about that movie that was so influential for you?
I don't know. I think it's really just like, I think back on it, just like a lot of nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Yeah. I think back to better times.
So you like the idea.
Simpler times.
So we like that. That's cool. Why don't we start with you? Because I like what you just said. That each one of you gets a chance to do this at the end of every show on Kids Are Talking. Just very briefly, we'll start with you. Is to say, and this go around, Ryan. Make sure you get everybody in here on this one. What is it that you want people to learn from tonight's show about film and movies and TV, and just what is it the message that you want to give people tonight about the importance of it?
I think movies and film can really impact people in a lot of different ways. For me personally, it's kind of a way to escape for a couple hours, see things differently, or I don't know, just get away for a bit.
Get away.
And I think that.
Okay, who's next? That's good. I like that. Ryan, help me out on this one. Let's get around the room.
Okay, Sean, what do you think?
What was the question?
Ryan, go ahead. Take over.
What message do you have? Like the impact of movies. What's the message you have for
The impact of movies? We got a lot of impact. Especially over COVID, everybody watched movies all the time. There was nothing really to do but watch movies. So I think a lot of us influence our lives from movies and characters in movies. Sometimes you can take on traits from certain characters. Like Ciaran reminds me of the Joker because he loves the Joker and stuff. And I take on a lot of traits from movies I see.
So what I want to do is go around the room because I'll tell you, my eyes can't really tune in. There's so many of you tonight in terms of the names. What we're trying to do is say a brief thing, each one of you, about what you want the audience, the people watching the show tonight, what do you want them to learn about movies? We started off with that. Let's keep going on that.
Sure. What do you think? We can go to you.
Yeah, Ryan, just go to each one of your friends because you can see the names better than I can.
I think people should take away that there's more to movies than just the surface level story, and that there's a lot of analysis that you can do with a movie in terms of the cast and the actual intent of the director and the writer.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan, move it all around to get everybody in there on this one. Make sure everybody gets a chance. Go ahead.
What do you think?
Who's next?
Gabe.
I think a takeaway from movies should be that a lot of movies reflect what's going on in society and what's going on in the world and global culture. So kind of paying attention to how movies trend could be pretty important to recognizing global patterns.
Thank you. Okay, who's next? Go ahead.
Matuesz.
I want everybody to get a chance at this one. Go ahead.
I'll keep it short and simple.
You guys are doing great. You're doing great. Go ahead,
Movies are
Matuesz.
good. It's like an art. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well said, Matuesz. Nick, all you.
Let's go. All right. So I honestly wish I was more of a movie person because I think it's a great medium just for overall for just learning a lot about what Gabe said, more about society, and also more about yourself as well, like developing your own character, like vicariously through other characters you see in the film. So
Did tonight's show help you?
It's a good art form, honestly.
Did tonight's show, listen to your buddies talk, help? You think that they did a good job doing that?
I think so. I think like Steven and Sean, Ciaran, Gabe brought up a lot of good points.
Great.
So take into consideration.
Okay, Ryan, do your thing, buddy.
You want to answer the question?
Sure. I agree with Nick. Movies really are a way to spread emotion, and I wish I was more of a movie person, but I think it's really cool. I like movies, and what was that? I lost my train of thought. Okay, that's it.
All right, well said, Victor. Steven, anything you want to add?
You're doing a good. That's Ryan. You're moving it around really good now, buddy. Really good.
All right. I think the takeaway should be: don't watch the consumerism movies like Marvel. I mean, you can watch them, but don't forget to watch like other movies that actually have like, again, like Ciaran said, like layers, deeper meanings, like ambiguity and stuff for analysis. Specifically like older movies. I do not want like the future generations to grow up only watching superhero movies and not be able to watch like classics like The Godfather, Rear Window, any of Hitchcock's stuff, Kubrick's stuff, and also foreign films. There's a lot of good foreign films that people don't watch.
How about West Side Story?
West Side Story is good. I mean, I think there's better movies, but West Side Story is good. I think they're coming out with a new movie for West Side Story, but never mind.
Right. Thank you, Steven.
Steven Spielberg, your guy.
Yeah, same name.
Okay, well, thanks for that. Your comments are really great. All your comments. Go ahead, Ryan. Keep going, buddy.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
no,
you. What about you? You guys,
Ryan. What about you?
Your takeaway.
Ending with my co-host tonight. Go ahead.
All right. I think lastly, I can say that movies. I feel that a lot of people like identify with people in movies and like the movie in general because it's such a big part of our lives because it's like when you have nothing to do, people watch film, TV shows, or entertainment in general. When you have free time, that's what you'll do. So I think people try to find a part of themselves in what they watch. That's what they identify with, so they'll enjoy it. So,
Hey, Ryan, I like that. That's
so
really,
I think that's what I have to say. That's it.
yeah. So, Mike, you want to join in on your son? You and I should get in on this too. What do you think we should get from tonight, and what do you feel about tonight's show? What do we want to?
I think it was a great show. It was a great show.
You always think it's a great show. How about something different than that?
No, and I think I think we should watch more movies. I think movies. Listen, without movies, as everybody said, a lot of people wouldn't have even made it through COVID.
That's right.
So entertainment keeps us going. It's what keeps your heart pumping and what keeps you moving forward. So without movies, where would we be?
There you go. Movies move. They move us forward. They
Movies,
move us.
Movies
they make
keep us moving. You can write that in your next poetry book.
I really like that. That's a great poetry line. I love it. It's a great lyric. And I think that movies definitely move us on. And during COVID, you sit under a blanket with your family, your girlfriend, your male friends, and all of you are fantastic. I mean, what I really got out of tonight is the beautiful camaraderie between all of you and how much you care and respect each other. And you must have a lot of fun sitting around and doing this. So thanks for sharing all that with all of us tonight. Give us a little bird's eye view into your world with each other and what you think and feel. And it was really a great special edition, and having Ryan help and you and all of you be part of
Great
this.
job,
Thank
Ryan.
you. Thank you very much. And for the special edition, we never did a show on a Friday rather than a Thursday. We broke it out. It's a little bit different.
Special edition for the class of 22 for episode 22.
And we'll be back next week on Thursday night.
Next week, Thursday.
But your show will stand out because it's this. You brought some really great wisdom to the idea of movies, and to show the kids are talking, and kids are talking about all kinds of things. We talk about guns and violence. We talk about anti-Semitism. But to have a show like this during the holidays, kind of change it up a little bit. I was a little nervous about it. 8 of you was very intimidating to me. Mike and Lynn certainly know that I normally get very freaked out having so many people on at one time. But you know what? I'm learning too, and you opened my mind. So thanks again, all of you. And I just want to say goodnight. Mike, you want to say anything before we say goodnight?
Say goodnight and tune in next week.
You're welcome
See you then.
backstage, by the way. If any of you want to come backstage and have a little party with us for a couple of minutes, we'd love to have you. And from all of us, our kids are talking. Have a great weekend. Happy holidays, and peace and love and safety. And just know, for listening to all these kids here tonight, we better start listening more to you all because you know a lot. So that's what we're all about here.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
Thank you.